When you're unloading or loading a vehicle or moving cargo, you want to set the parking brake, turn off the vehicle, put the keys in your pocket, and chalk the wheels. Now, some tools you may use when you're loading or unloading your vehicle will be either forklift, pallet jacks, and two-wheel dolly. So these are the common tools or equipment that you could possibly use or be around of when you are transporting cargo. And I'm gonna break down each of these types of tools. So the forklift is a mechanical device used for moving materials and is powered by electronic motor and the internal combustion engine. Now, only trained operators can use a forklift to move and load vehicles, which is a person that has successfully completed a training program that is mandated by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA. And that's under the 29 CFR 1910.178. So that's in the Code Federal Regulations. Again, do not operate any equipment unless you are trained to use it. Then you have pallet jacks. Now, pallet jacks move loads when forklifts may not be available or if that space is too tight, depending on which area you are in and where you're located and where the cargo is located as well. Now, when you must move cargo on pallets, you may use a pallet jack. Now, there are designed for floor level material handling on hard level surfaces. Now, hand pallet jacks are best for short distances and on low grades. A powered pallet jacks is very useful for heavier loads when you have to move the cargo in greater distances. So if you have to move the cargo much further, then a powered pallet jack is definitely helpful. And remember, only a trained operator that has successfully completed a training program as mandated by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, can operate a powered pallet jack. And that is under 29 CF 1910.178. And that's in the Code of Federal Regulations. And the pallet jacks must be used carefully and safely. Here are some best easy safety tips. So you want to expect by always checking the pallet jack for any defection or any type of malfunctions that might affect the operation or safe use, or anything that will affect your ability to use it safely. So you want to expect that. Then check for the balance. Make sure the items on the pallet are properly balanced and secured. And the heavier items should be on the bottom with the lighter ones on top. And then checking the weight. Make sure the position of the forks well into the pallet before raising that load. Now, if the load is too heavy, that means some of the items needs to be taken off. That way, the weight can be properly distributed and you won't end up damaging any cargo or yourself. Then you have a two-wheel dolly. A two-wheel dolly is a tool. It lets you haul several items at one time, or it moves heavier items with ease. Now, if it's not used correctly, it can crush toes, injure ankles, it can strain backs and damage cargo. That's why it's important to make sure the load is securely stacked and balanced. And if so, tip the load forward slightly and push the tongue of that dolly completely under the load. So the load should not limit your view, because if you cannot see above or around the items, then that means you have to split the load to make multiple trips, because you do not want the cargo, the dolly, you do not want it to tip over and damage yourself, the cargo, or others. So that's why it's also important to test the load by moving it a short distance, because you want to make sure that it can be moved without shifting or falling. And then check your path. Once you're certain that you can move the load safely, then make sure no people or no obstruction are in your way or in your path. Then you want to use your leg muscles to actually move the dolly by keeping your back straight while using one hand to steer and the other hand to balance the load. You do not want to try to push the dolly too fast. So taking your time and safety is the key. So make sure the floor is clean and flat before lowering the load. And when you're lowering the load, you want to use your leg muscles and not your back to set the load on the floor. So you want to use your muscles to set the load on the floor. And then you have the documentation of that. Documentation, typically a driver will have either a bill of landing or shipping paper that gives specific details on the cargo that is being hauled. Hey, BET Trainer here. Listen, if you really had true value out of this video, go ahead and click that like button and share some honest comments about this video, because this is going to help other people as well see the video and get the value information, so that way they can be inspired by what you're doing right now as well. So also, if you want to get the latest updates, go ahead and click the subscribe button, so then you can be able to always be updated on the next instant video that will be put out. So again, go ahead and do that. And this video was sponsored by BET Life Services and CDL for Life.